Their service is a part of America's history. Join us as we step into their story.
I grew up in a very, very patriotic family. My dad was drafted and served. My mom was known for her patriotism in the community, in the churches that she attended. She was red, white, and blue to the core. I was playing cornet from 5th grade to 12th grade, really enjoyed it and wanted to continue, and this was a way in which I was hoping to pass all the auditions and continue playing. So that's what I decided to do. I was 17 when I graduated from high school. So you have an audition before you enlist. If you pass the audition, you can enlist, but you still have to pass 3 auditions at that time. I'm not sure how it works now. This was back in 1986. You had to pass a beginning, middle, and end audition at the School of Music, which was at the Norfolk Amphibious Base in Virginia. So you had a beginning audition. If you didn't pass it, then they gave you another shot. And then if you put in enough what they called units, practice hours, you'd get more shots if you fell short. So there were some people that fell short, and then the Army put them wherever their need was. So they have, I think they called it at that time, a dream wish list of places you could write down of where you might want to be stationed after AIT. So a bunch of us put, 2 or 3 places. I don't even recall where I put, but I know I got Fort Drum, New York was my first duty station. There was not a band there at the time. When we got there, we started the band. We ordered instruments. We made a band hall out of a building. We did all kinds of things to get the ball rolling with that. And then when my duty was done there, I re-enlisted and I chose Germany. And I got to go to Germany, which was fantastic for travel. I saw a lot of countries. I volunteered to play taps quite a bit if the others didn't want to. Basically, we rotated. Sometimes people didn't want to because they wanted to be with their families or whatever the case was. And I normally would volunteer every time just to see the countryside. And when I left Germany, I again had some choices. They were going to send me to Fort Dix, New Jersey, and I knew that band was going to fold and they were closing it. So I said, please just send me anywhere but there. I don't want to get there, get settled for a few months, and then have to go somewhere else. So that's when they said, would Fort Hood do for you? And I said, absolutely. And I've been here ever since. I never left. I got out here and stayed here. I will say that we have kind of a second MOS, which is to help and augment the MPs, the military police, in times of war. So if there's a war and we're called to go, we pull guard duty around the rear. Also, we entertain troops coming and going. At Fort Drum, we did a lot of field time. We deployed to Fort Bragg once so that we could be in the heat because we were so used to the cold, but we weren't acclimated to any type of heat. We went through a light fighters phase 1 training there. A lot more field time than you probably do in any other band from what I understand. We also had other opportunities for schooling. I went to nuclear biological chemical school. There are a great number of ceremonies we play for: retirement ceremonies, change of command ceremonies, dining in, dining outs. There are, of course, taps for fallen soldiers, and I still do that today for free. I will play for any fallen soldier for free.
3, 4.
And the band also did Sometimes they would break into separate groups if the commander would allow it, like a rock group, a country group, and they'd play for different festivities in towns. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't know about as far as, the training and being prepared just like any other soldier. It's either the light fighters training or a separate training we did with the military police. There would be 3 or 4 officers out in the woods somewhere, and our job was to find those officers, detain them, tag them, etc. And so at one point, the military police and the bandsmen were trying to find these officers, and the ironic and funny thing, because of course we get made fun of a little bit, you're in the band, what do? Take your horn and point your spit valve at someone in times of war. We found and captured every one of those officers before the MPs found any of them, which was pretty funny to some of us because they were making fun of us. And there was one point where they had told us no matter what they say, how they're screaming at you, you follow these orders. And that was to make sure their ankles were tied, make sure their wrists were tied, and etc. No matter what they said to you, don't let up on that. So I had one officer took my boot strap out and had his ankles and had his wrists with the other boot lace. And he was screaming, "I'm ordering you now to let me go. This is too harsh and those are too tight." And I said, "No, sir, I cannot do that." And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, because he's screaming and yelling. It was another one of those basic training tests. And so I passed because I didn't let him out of there. But yeah, we did a lot of behind the scenes training that no one would expect bandsmen to do. Well, there is a sense of pride because we work so hard, and well, we try. It's not always perfect, but again, the mission is to entertain. The TAPS mission, of course, is for the fallen soldiers to pay the final and last respects for a fallen soldier. So we do the best we can and hope that people enjoy what we do out there. Playing TAPS, I think, is the most memorable because it's the last respect paid to a soldier, and it's so important to me to be a part of that. And it helps people realize that freedom's not free. There are sacrifices made for the freedoms that we have today. And so I continue that service today. Like I said before, for free for any fallen soldier.